Hi, Olga. Hi, Rami. This is Ritu Kant from Wild. We are here at the Canadian Pavilion. We just had a interesting conversation on Canva. Could you tell our audience more about Canva and your practice as the architects?
Canva is a firm that's based in Montreal, in Canada. It's a pleasure to be here, to meet you, to be part of this expo. It's a firm that whose practice is between more ephemeral or permanent art and architecture, with a great variety of projects of different scales, different programs, different usage. So it's truly a mix between architecture as a means of exploring and putting forward different meanings and stories.
You want to add something, Olga?
Founded in 2003 by Rami Bebawi and his partner Tudor Arulescu,
And when did you join the firm?
about 10 years ago.
Okay, cool. So what are the significant projects Canva has executed which are related to sustainability? You want to?
Most probably the most significant related to the sustainability is between 2014 and 2020. We were selected as the recipients. We won an architectural and international competition to redo the Montreal Science Museum, the Byron. It was a great journey. It's within an Olympic heritage building with hundreds and hundreds of living species, aquatic species, terrestrial and airborne, with different vegetation. So it was a project that was basically a life-changing project, not just professionally but personally, this relationship between humans and nature. And it's, I believe, perhaps what brought us closest and into the reflection, into understanding what the notions of what it meant to be part of a single balance.
Wow. So you won a big award in 2017, which enriched your practice. Would you like to talk about that award?
Sure. We received from the Canada Council of Arts, it's a Prix de Rome, so the Rome Prize. It's a research grant, actually, that allowed us to travel and collaborate with different researchers within the field. The proposal was called Adaptive Boundaries. It talks about notions of biocentric architecture. So as opposed to an anthropocentric approach where humans are at the center of the universe, we are exploring biocentricity where we put ourselves within the ecosystem. We don't put us above other living species. So it kind of talks about architecture as we want to challenge the notions of the hermetic envelope that we are always creating thicker and thicker walls to protect us more and more from the environment, therefore giving a much stronger impact on the planet, on the environment. So can we break that cycle and actually allow living species to live within our walls, to break those boundaries, therefore the title Adaptive Boundaries. So it really brought us, gave us a greater sensibility towards living species.
Is it the briefs which you cater to, or is it like you reach out to the clients and you explain then the deeper concepts? Because these are some of the very deeper concepts.
Actually, it's a bit of both. I think that in certain competitions or different public projects, there is a certain a standard and a desire from the public realm to sort of bring about more sustainability. But I think the private is more interested in sustainability than we think. And I think there was a time where 5 to 10 years ago, they were thinking of it as a branding strategy and that it was becoming a mercantile tool. But I think now over the years, people we're hoping the awareness is being raised slightly and there is a will. And it's not just using the word sustainable or being leads. I think there's two important things, and we always say that. One, and Olga was referring to it, is the notion of sensitivity. And beyond what you can have a LEED accreditation and so forth. You can go as far as a BC said building, a completely carbon neutral building. You can push forward renewable energies. But if these are isolated moments that are not captured and sort of wrapped by this overall sensitivity, then those gestures might not be able to benefit as much as if the broader spectrum is taken into account. So in events that you're putting forward, in the priorities that you're trying to promote, and what the Canada Pavilion is doing, and that Canada is putting forward, these messages are being important. I think that's a nice way of linking in not only being into notions of sustainability, sensitive, but aware of our richness and belonging. And I think traces, our work here emerged from the accumulation of these thoughts as we've grown over the last years.
And kind of as you're asking, are the clients ready for those messages? Do they have sustainability in mind? Well, GAC, Global Affairs Canada, are putting forward here at the Pavilion the themes of global warming, global challenge, climate change.
And climate change.
So, yes.
And it's done, yes, in an artistic interpretation, and we'll get into the story of traces with pleasure, but it's a question, and we've been having these discussions over dinners with the whole team, or you simply preach to those that believe in the same things as you, or you decide to preach to a greater audience, to go beyond what is received as being a natural way of being, and hope for that change to arise.
Amazing. Olga, I would be quite curious to know as a layman, how difficult is it to express a country through a structure or through artifacts? What is the difficulty one faces? How you will be able to overcome those difficulties to create these beautiful artifacts?
Well, I think it started with the notions of the fact climate change, fine global warming, and through those events, we're now losing the biodiversity, right? And biodiversity is a global theme, but how do we link it to Canada through the landscapes that Canada has throughout and the variety of the landscapes? And so what we're realizing is actually it's not just that the species are disappearing themselves, it's that humans, we are exploiting and our landscapes, and the landscapes are fading out. So their habitats are fading out, and therefore the species are disappearing. And so it's really through that reflection that Traces was born.
Tool is a powerful thing. To be very didactic when it comes to promoting a country or values is difficult. Words have a great capacity, but they also have a great capacity of limiting certain things. And as you invest only into the words, then you may forget something. Art has the potential of being greater than itself. It allows an appropriation by the user, the visitor, to interpret in their own way. It allows several layers of understanding of a country. And I think that we are fortunate to be able to put forward an image which is caring with environmental concerns and promoting a country through art. That liberty, when there is meaning given to your creative process, is a privilege.
Any message you want to give? Please go ahead. You want to speak something?
I was just going to add that art allows people to care, to appropriate the kind of the beauty of the artifacts that they create, and then people start caring about that, and then intellectually, then they want to know more, right? If you're just speaking to speak and giving a harsh message to people, they will be less receptive to it. Whereas here, through art, they can be more sensitive towards the message that we're trying to give.
And then change. And you're referring to the heart, the head, the hand. Touch the heart, educate the head, the mind, and help the hand to help.
So, any message you want to give to the fraternity of architects in the world?
What is good for your client on the short term, on the long term? Can we expand that to be what's good for our planet also, and that we're not hurting the other living species around us? What is our? You arrive on every site. What do you see? Is there an ecosystem present there already? Are you destroying habitats by introducing the project that you're about to design on the site?
You'll never solve all problems with buildings as architects. I mean, fundamentally, there's a dichotomy in the fact that all building requires demolition. All buildings require perhaps intrinsic carbons within materials and so forth. So the point is to maintain a view which is nuanced, which allows to have a balance with attaining certain goals and being sensitive to others. But overall, it's a question of understanding we're part of something bigger and being sensitive to that. I
think if I may add just one last thing,
sure.
is to kind of stop. I think nowadays we're a bit stuck in the fact of saying, you know what, green projects are not financially viable for us. So I think just to erase that kind of message from our heads and re-question and rethink of new possibilities, because there are ways
And
of
the
making...
notion of viability. What is viability?
What is
Exactly.
viability?
What is
itself?
viability?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for speaking to Wild. Thank you so much, Rami and Olga.